For entrepreneurs, their business is just an outward expression of a unique ability that they had when they were six years old, and now they're 30 years down the road and they've turned it into a business model.
The confidence in your past, the distinction about accelerating your positive moving future has to do with the friction of forgiveness. In other words, the more forgiving you are of your past, the less friction you'll have to moving faster into the positive future.
And I said, once you come to grip with those three things and you realize that I've got all the power in the world just to design my life the way I want to design it without worrying about what else is going on.
All right, in this episode of Capability Amplifier, by the way, my name is Mike Koenigs. I'm here today with my good friend and the wisest man I know, Mr. Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach. Woohoo! All right, so this one is all about 10 unique differentiators. It's how do you differentiate yourself, and it's a brand new thinking tool that Dan has come up with, and I guarantee you, when you use this, you're going to really understand what makes you different, what makes you special, and how to get that out to the world. And we use our good friend Chat GPT to write some fun copy today. I think you're really going to enjoy this, Dan.
And I just want to follow up a little bit that we experimented with a new partner on Capability Amplifier called GPT number 3, and this is a new AI program. And so we've decided to add a third partner to, and so every podcast we do from now on, there will be a certain point where we'll just have GPT-3 actually write some really great sales copy on what we just discussed. And you'll see that we can get it in point form and they can give really, really punchy, top-notch copy. And this is an AI program that we'll explain that you can have as a constant companion in your daily work and your daily pleasure.
Does that mean we have to add a new character to our poster back here, Dan? We might have to.
No, this will be invisible. You got it. To be on the poster, you have to have a pulse.
Okay, all right. Well, so you'll enjoy all three of us on this podcast. That much I guarantee. Here's the show. Okay, Dan, this is really exciting. You just did a workshop with your 10 unique differentiators, and the big idea is if you want to identify what your true unique ability is as an organization, so you can help figure out your pricing, your core differentiators, your profitability, expanding prosperity, and doing what you do in your unique ability all the time. Tell us a little bit about it, and then I'm going to show the screen because we have, of course, one of your thinking tools.
Yeah, just a little context. So I had a Zoom workshop, and it's called a connector, and it's a 2-hour connector. And in Strategic Coach, we have full day workshops, either on Zoom or in person. But we, when COVID came along, we had to increase our frequency of contact with our clients. So I created these little 2-hour Zoom sessions, and our clients are from all over the world. So they have some time inconveniences, but they can be in contact with each other, and there's no travel. And these are very advanced. This is the top level of Strategic Coach, and this is called the Free Zone, where it's all about that you're so good at what you do, and you're cash confident, so the money's handled, and you got a great lifestyle, and you have really a lot of balance in your life. But now the real excitement is that you can collaborate, take the unique capability of your company, and you can combine it with the unique capability of someone else's company. And Mike and I are a good example on the Capability Amplifier, Mike is a successful, talented, ambitious entrepreneur who's looking for really, really interesting future projects. And, I'm doing the same. And we said, why don't we create a podcast and just talk about whatever is interesting to us that week. And this has been going for a whole number of years. And
Yeah.
we both learn a lot from the other person, what they bring to it. And but it's just a fun activity. And in the free zone, you're doing that, but you're doing it for creating an entirely new money-making capability out in the world. You can't do it just using your capabilities. The other person can't do it just using their capabilities. So you put two capabilities together, and then you got something brand new that transforms the marketplace because it brings so much added value
Yep.
to the same end user. So the end user, what unites it is the end user. So one of the things that I wanted my my free zone entrepreneurs to get a handle on is what is it uniquely about them that really created this differentiated type of company in the marketplace. Because for entrepreneurs, their business is just an outward expression of a unique ability that they had when they were six years old, and now they're 30 years down the road and they've turned it into a business model. So I created this thinking tool for that. And anyway, that's the setup here.
Okay. So should I show the screen? And
Yeah, I think we should just
so we've
do
got
it.
the 10, and you can walk us through what these are. Because
Yeah, and I'm
just
not going
full
to do all
disclosure.
10. I'm
No,
not
no.
going to do all 10, but what I'm going to show is how I look at me. I'm looking at myself here, and how I'm looking at how my talent that I was kind of born with gradually when I was 30 became a marketplace business, in 1974. And I've been at it, I'm closing in on 50 years with the business. And what I have is an ability to think about my thinking and actually structure it, actually put it into structures that I call tools. And the one that you're seeing here is called 10 Unique Differentiators. And this is like tool number 250. And we have these all copyrighted and we have them all trademarked, and we're moving a lot of them into patents now.
So don't steal Dan's stuff. That's what he's saying in the nicest way possible.
We come after you. I mean, we have the power of the law on our side, and we exercise our power judicious. What's the word?
Yeah, we'll just say what Judas Priest would say. Don't listen to that song, breaking the law.
Judiciously is the actual word. But what we have is a formula that if you want to create a good thinking tool, state a vision of yours, and then it's called VODA, so vision, and then think of all the opposition to your vision. And the opposition in our system is just the raw material that your brain is trying to provide you to get to the vision, but you have to transform the obstacle into some sort of thing, a new action, a new decision, and a new communication. So it's raw material. So the vision, you don't get the obstacles unless you have the vision, and the vision is unique and the obstacles are unique, and then you transform it uniquely into action, and then you create something new in the marketplace. And that's been around since 1982, so 40 years in the making. But this VODA, whenever I start thinking about a new tool, I always bounce it against vision, opposition. So the first one is VODA. This is the uniqueness, VODA generated thinking, about your thinking times hundreds of patented tools. Okay, so that's a uniqueness on my part, but it's uniqueness on the company's part now after almost 50 years, and we differentiate ourselves in the marketplace. And the reason is that in the strategic coach, you don't go there to think about other people's thinking. You go there to think about your thinking, and then you share your thinking with 40 to 50 other people in the room who have thought about their thinking, and all sorts of new things happen. So you're always capitalizing on your own thinking with a constantly expanding inventory of strategic coach thinking tools. So Mike, you've been around us for a decade, and And you do your thinking, and lots of interesting things pop out, and then you think about it. But it's all new to everybody in the room. But it's not my thinking. I just provide structure for other people's thinking. So that's one of
Yeah.
my differentiators. Okay, so the differentiator where I say the you, first of all, I'm talking to me, Dan. I'm having a conversation with myself, and then I'm saying that the you can also be strategic coach clients, and they can use my thinking tools to create stuff of their own.
Right. And the way, I look at this as a member of coach, when I would use one of these, I'm actually going to grill you. So I'm going to do this as though I were in class right now. So class began. We're at strategic coach. You'd begin and you'd open up and you'd share this tool with us, and you'd do what you just did, which is go through. You might go through some of the
What
examples.
I would say here is,
Yeah.
I'll give you an example of something that really differentiates me, and I might go down 1, 2, and 3 here on the
Yes.
example. And they have a sheet that looks exactly like this, but theirs is blank.
Yep.
Okay. And so I said, what we'll do is I'll just go around and I'll say to Mike, Mike, one of the things I think that you differentiate yourself enormously is that you're a phenomenally good listener to what other people are planning for their next jump in their business. And you've got massive amounts of previous skill from having been a marketer in different industries, and you were a pioneer in internet marketing. And what you've been able to do is create a very, very intense short-term process where people can actually use a team of skilled people, and with you as the director, and added on all sorts of new technologies that are emerging quarterly, in the world right now, where you can actually take them from just thinking about a new business to having the actual packaged new business in 3 days with all the marketing to go with it. So it seems to me that that's an amazing way that you differentiate. And I've never seen it. I've never seen anyone else do it. I've never seen anyone else. So I think that is kind of a great thing that you've created, which is based on who you were like when you were 6 years old, and you've just kept amplifying your capabilities over decades. And this is kind of one of the ways you differentiate yourself right now. So I would say that to them, just to give an example. I said, could you repeat that back?
Yeah.
That's very good. But I really listen to people. And since I'm so interested in my own uniqueness, and I keep refining my own uniqueness, every gain that I make in understanding myself makes me more alert and observant about what other people do uniquely. So I'm just giving them a chance to actually say, how is it that you're so different in the marketplace? And this is a tool you're going to work on. So you're going to do a first version of it today. You might not get 10 of them. You might get 4 or 5 of them, but we'll keep coming back to this, and you're going to start as you go over the next, weeks before we meet again. You're going to come back and say, I've gotten a lot clearer about the first 5, and I've added 2 more. And so this is a forever tool that entrepreneurs can do to just get totally clear how they're just absolutely unique in the marketplace.
Yep.
Got that? So and then I had about 14. I think I had 14 on the Zoom call, and they, and I just, went through this, and the room just came on fire because I was introducing them on how to have a great conversation with themselves for the rest of their life, where they're constantly going back and forth with themselves and their experience. And they say, that wording of number 3 is not quite right. And then they make the wording on number 3 that much right. But then it starts entering their conversations with their team, the team they have, and also with their customers and clients. And they just start zeroing in. So you don't have to worry about competition, because you're so far in the unique zone that
Yes.
that the competition isn't irrelevant. It's not even relevant. As a matter of fact, your competitors want to come and find out how you're doing what you're doing. You know, they
Hmm.
a lot of them want to become your customers because you're so far ahead of them.
Right, right. That I had a interesting thing happen today. So first of all, I want to show you something. What I did while you were summarizing, and I do want to just reflect back to you what that experience was, because the magic of being in coach is watching you go through the exercise that you just built. You get to test it out on paying customers, which is the most important thing of all,
Check
and
writers.
then
Mhm.
help them imagine themselves being you, right? And then by taking them through the process, we break into groups, we meet, we discuss these, and then we come back. And you might do exactly what you do. You'll pick someone out, you'll use them in his example, then you'll hear what everyone else says, every moment getting better. Okay. So one of the things that I did while you were summarizing is I grabbed the transcript. So right now, for everyone who's watching, I'm going to share my screen. Whenever I do a podcast or I'm working with someone, I always run Otter in the background, which is transcribing everything we do in real time. Now, when you talked about me, I grabbed this text and I fed it into Chat GPT with the following command: rewrite the following content and turn it into a sales message and mini commercial for a YouTube video about a service for business owners and entrepreneurs. So pasted it in there. And then it came back with this: are you a business owner or entrepreneur looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further. Our team at the Superpower Accelerator is here to help you turn your dream business into a reality. Services are designed specifically for busy professionals like you, offering a fast and effective process for launching a new business in just 3 days. But what sets us apart from the competition? Our director is a seasoned marketer with years of experience in different industries and a pioneer in internet marketing. Plus, we stay on top of the latest technologies and trends, ensuring that your new business is equipped with everything it needs to succeed in today's market. Don't just take our word for it. We're known for our exceptional listening skills and ability to understand exactly what our clients need. With the Superpower Accelerator by your side, you can trust that we will guide you every step of the way from idea to launch. So why wait? Contact us today and start turning your business and dreams into a reality. Not too bad, Dan.
How's that for a quick, you know,
Yeah.
a veteran copywriter from the 1970s just decided
Right.
to dust off his tools here for a few minutes. Yeah, but you can
Yep.
see the power of it right off the bat.
Yes.
What we're combining here, for those of you who didn't realize what Magician Mike just did, is that we have an AI program which is called Otter AI, which automatically takes everything that's spoken and transcribes it. And then there's a brand new AI program, GPT-3, and Mike just took the transcript from Otter AI and he plugged it into this new one, and it wrote it as if it's a sales letter or a description, and he did that. And that was just based off my attempt to tell Mike what I saw as his differentiator in the marketplace.
Yep. Yep. And I also just changed the command that I gave this thing, and I told it to convert that into 5 simple bullet points. So here's what's important about this, Dan. Let's just think about how this tool can help strategic coach members, because you can take some of the ideas and findings, copy, paste, feed it into Chat GPT. And for example, again, I haven't even proofed this yet, but I told it to just turn it into 5 bullets. Our service offers short-term, intense process for turning business ideas into successful realities. We have a team of skilled professionals led by with years of experience. Utilize the latest technologies to guide clients from idea to fully fledged business in just 3 days. Includes marketing materials to ensure success, highly skilled and experienced, making us uniquely qualified to help clients differentiate their business. Not too bad.
No.
So you can bulletize these conversations.
Well, first of all, in minutes, you have a great first 80% that then you can fine tune and
Yes.
everything. But biggest problem with writing is the first draft.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I mean, I'm a writer with 50 years professional experience, and I have to tell you, it's getting the first draft out, because the moment you have the first draft out, your brain goes to work and it naturally wants to improve it and make it
Yes.
fine tuned. But it's the first draft that's the toughest part of a writer. I mean,
Evolution is optimized for make it better,
yeah,
but create from nothing is
is is tough.
incredibly painful. Giving birth is the hard part. Growing up can sometimes be a little bit easier, especially if you have an environment and feedback. But the birth making part is, yeah, that's very, very true. So let's so I want to ask you a couple questions about the 10, because there's 10 unique differentiators. Why
Yeah.
not 5? Why do you think 10 are
Well,
so important?
first of all, because 10 gives you a lot of room for experimenting with new things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And, I could pick 5, but I've just decided with this particular tool that 10 is better. And I could have given 20 or 30 of my own, because every
Mm-hmm.
one of my tools is a differentiator in the marketplace. These are copyright trademarked, and we have coaches who do this. But I just decided to give people a big canvas to paint on. But the
Mm-hmm.
other thing is, it's a forever tool. So we'll visit this every quarter now, or maybe even 2 or 3 times during a quarter. And every free zone client will have their 10 unique differentiators. And every time we get together, they're going to have new input. So it's a conversation with themselves that lasts for the rest of their life about their uniqueness. And they'll talk to other people about their uniqueness. But at the same time, they're going to acquire the skill to actually help other people with their uniqueness. So it's a conversation with yourself. And
Yeah.
when we got finished, I talked to my team after this 2 hours, and I said, I went to a college where you learn the great books of the Western world. Okay,
Yeah.
this is from the Greeks right up to Einstein. And I said, and I spent 4 years there, and I read 100 great books, and we had endless tutorials and seminars on taking the great books apart. And the whole point of it was that you grasp the philosophy of the ages and the wisdom of the ages so that you know yourself better. And I
Yes.
said, we just pulled off in 2 hours what they couldn't pull off in 4 years. So you just added another thing to it, that as you get to know yourself better using this new AI program, you can continually pump out new copy about your uniqueness in the marketplace that automatically differentiates your company even more in the marketplace.
Yes. I when I hear that, you said something to me years ago that became an absolute must. So here was the line. It was willing to experiment, iterate, and test to find breakthroughs.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I don't know if I ever showed you this specific thing, but I'm going to show you a slide right now. When we do one of our marketing presentations, people will invariably ask this question. Yes, but will it work for me? Will it work for me in my business? Okay. And, will strategic coach work for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, my business is different. That comes up all the time. And to overcome that elephant, I call it, my next book that I have coming out is called Punch the Elephant. And it's knocking out the elephant in the room as soon as you walk in. That's your job.
Yep.
And what you have to do is, before you ask for the sale, you've got to overcome and knock out every objection that stands in the way. So the reason I'm bringing this up, Dan, is because when you went through all of these things and you talk about history, I see this tool as a vehicle. When you said I want to, again, correct me if I misunderstood, but being able to review this every quarter. So if
Well,
you
I
went
think
through
even
this,
more frequently, but
that's amazing if you did it that often.
part of the ongoing, discipline of being in the free zone is you're going to continually be updating your 10 unique differentiators. Never going to be 10.
Yeah,
Okay. And every quarter, each of the 10 is going to get better. You're going to get more precise about it.
precisely. Yep. So that's why this notion of testing and iterating all the time. But my favorite thing about strategic coach changes all the time. But my new current favorite thing is the iteration and the fact that every episode, I think of the experience as a show, not as an organization. And every quarterly meeting is an episode, just like every meeting we have online. And so, and being able to look at what your past was and comparing it to the future is what excites me most.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
again,
And I
that's
tell
part of the
people
deep
you can't,
programming.
yeah, you can't be any more motivated about your future than you're confident about your past. This is, one of my
Yeah.
concepts. If you're not confident about your past, you won't have the commitment and courage to try something new in the future because you've got your own sense of your past is that you failed at this, you failed at this, you failed at this, and you failed at this. And therefore, you say, how is the future going to be any different than my failed past?
Yes. Now I'm going to add something that you've never articulated before, but I've had a realization recently, which is um, the confidence in your past, the distinction about accelerating your positive moving future has to do with the friction of forgiveness. In other words, the more forgiving you are of your past, the less friction you'll have to moving faster into the positive future.
Yeah.
And
And the other thing is that you realize that the really negative experiences that you've had in the past that you thought were failures were were creators of extraordinary self-knowledge about what to do and what not to do in the future. But
yes,
since you don't look at your experiences that way, you don't have the use of the value of the actual experience. I said good experience, bad experience. I mean, it's all experience, okay?
yes,
And the common factor is you were there and you've got the greatest memory of it and you've got the emotional reaction to it. So this is phenomenal information about yourself, but you got to see it as useful before your future becomes more successful.
yes. And I think your evolution applied towards your business, no matter what it is. Again, what's a brand? What's a business consumer brand, a business to business brand? All of those are accelerants. So I'm going to just show you what I'm leading up to, and you'll see how the impact of one thing. There's two key things have come down to how we look for our clients. So I call it our perfect who we want to be a hero to. I'm using a little coach language, but visionary entrepreneurs, the owner, founder, CEO, partner, which is just like coach. B2B, I prefer the 2 to 150 million because
Yeah.
it's still a founder in control and greater than $5,000 offers. Have more money than time, cash confident. You and I talked about that.
Yeah.
That's proven successes, transformations, social proof, a history of being coachable and coached. You know that. If someone comes into strategic coach and they've had a coach before, they're
Yeah.
already sold on the value. They're belongers. The X should have been YPO, but they already belong to other groups. They know the value of a community. They want to be a trusted authority. They know a strong brand boosts the value in pricing. Want to have written books, but here's the big one: willing to experiment, iterate, and test to find breakthroughs.
Yeah.
That is the lubricant. And then again, I've found that the quick start 8 through 10s, those are our who's. And I would suggest that who strategic coach targets are precisely the same.
Well,
It's
except the Colby, because I've got
you've got great fact finders.
great fact finders. Interestingly, I don't have great follow-throughs because
Yeah.
every year we do a complete Colby review of is the so there's 2,500, and for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Colby is a phenomenal profiling tool to discover how you best take action to get results.
Yes.
And it's one of the tools that's part of the introduction to a 10 times entrepreneurial career that we use for people to develop unique knowledge. But the big thing is that the average this year, so if you take everybody's Colby's and then you average out what the numbers are, it's a 6 fact finder, it's a 3 follow through, it's an 8 quick start, and it's a 3 implementer. And that's the profile. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And the interesting thing about that is if you went back to year 3 of Coach in 1992, it would be a 3 fact finder. It would be kind of like mine, actually. I'm a 2-2-10-4, and it
Yeah.
would be 3, maybe a 3-3, and an 8, maybe a 4
Uh-huh.
5, but it
Yeah,
was
I'm
very,
a three
very
one nine
heavy. Not
five.
much
Yeah.
fact finder, but the really good entrepreneurs are good at the facts that they need. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm an innovator, and I suspect you are too. I'm an innovator,
Hmm.
and the only facts I need are the ones I'm making up to make the sale.
Yeah. Yeah. Or we're smart enough to know that we shouldn't be fact finding and we're going to have a good fact finder to
Yeah, we're
bounce
going
an
to be
idea off
surrounded.
of.
We're going to be
Yeah.
surrounded by fact finders. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm
Yep.
surrounded. I mean, Eleonora, who is one of my key team members, she's got an 8 fact finder and a 7 follow through.
Yep.
And she's got a 2 quick start. But I don't work with her side by side, day by day. We have projects that we work on. And if I start getting a little out of control, her 2 quick start prevents chaos from happening. She said, why don't we get a
Uh,
handle on where
yeah.
we are and everything
Yep.
like that? And then I have other people who are, who have, just totally different Colbys. And because I'm just a team member with a set of very, very specialized skills in a
Yep.
team of other people with very specialized skills. So,
Mm-hmm.
and so I just look at what I'm great at and how do I spend more time and on bigger opportunities where I just get to be great at what I am, and who else
Yes.
do I need so that we got an overall thriving, balanced, profitable company year after year after year.
Great. Oh, I love it. Yeah. And as I listen, uh one of the things that I often say, like, anyone who's a low fact finder needs bumpers going up. So you remember the bumpers and when you go bowling?
Mm-hmm.
So as long as Dan's got the bumpers up, man, everything's fine.
Yeah.
And that's really what the fact finders do. So we can innovate and stay.
Yeah.
You gotta paint outside the lines, but you don't want to fall in the gutters.
But people who are lawn and fact finder have to have quick starts. You
Totally.
got to. I mean, in order to find out whether something works, you
Mm.
got to have someone who's courageous about experimenting with new things, and then
Yep.
you don't don't bet your ranch on
Hmm.
on it. But actually, it's kind of like the television commercial. I think it was some cereal says, "Let Mikey eat it." Like there
Yep.
was always somebody,
Mikey likes, yeah. I got
like
that was my
Mikey,
nickname growing
Mikey
up.
will put anything in his mouth, So you're Roman emperor. Roman emperors knew that.
Yep.
Let Slavius eat it to see that there's not strychnine in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's so true. So I'm thinking to myself, we covered a lot of material here,
But the
but
thing is, Mike, for
yeah, go
you
for it.
as a free zone client, you'll have year 10, and this is a forever project. So every quarter you're going to get more precise. You're going to talk about, and then you can take three of them and we can do a triple play on it. We can
Mhm.
say, okay, I've got three of my unique differentiators and I put them here and I say, okay, what do these two have in connection with each other? What are these two have a connection? And all of a sudden you get new dimensions of how you differentiate yourself in the marketplace.
Right.
So my sense is that it's a never-ending expansion of self-knowledge, but also a multiplication of unique impact in the marketplace.
Yes. And what I see this being useful for when I look at it, the way I would use it, for example, in my own process is um I'll give you this example of imagine each of the unique differentiators as a rule or a commandment of value.
Yeah.
And when we created, this is one of the brands we created, the Lifestyle Investor, this guy named Justin Donald. And I
Yep.
created the 10 commandments of cash flow investing for passive income and financial freedom. Now, what I did to come up with the 10 commandments is I deconstructed 10 of his best investments and then came up with the rule set
Yep.
of how he framed a deal. You know, in other words, what was the investment and how did he get the maximum interest, return, reduce risk, negotiate terms, etc. And that became 10 core chapters for the book. Okay, so 10 commandments. So you could take the 10 unique differentiators and make those, if you're going to shop for an XYZ, make sure they have all 10 of these things. Yep. Those are the differentiators. So you can disqualify your competition and you could write a little copy that's messaged.
You
right?
just disregard the competition. You're creating such unique.
Exactly. That's the category of one.
You're creating your own unique monopoly in the value creation monopoly in the marketplace.
Right.
I mean, you don't have. I mean, you got a choice between who is worried at night about the other person.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, I want the competition not sleeping at night because they know I've come up with something new today. You know, it's not my problem, it's their problem. I'm going to make what used to be my problem their problem, and I'm never going to have the problem again.
Yep. Exactly. This is a really good
it's pretty good
episode.
It's a pretty good podcast. Yeah. So what we know now is that we have a third partner to every one of our podcasts, and that's GPT-3 is going to be.
We're always going to have Chat GPT.
We're always going to have GPT-3 on as a third member of Capability Amplifier.
And GPT-4 is right around the corner. I heard a rumor that they're about to test it, and it is miles ahead, almost indifferentiable. Is that the right? Is that well? You almost won't be able to differentiate it and a human, and its knowledge base is going to be significantly better. So I am excited, Dan. I love the future. I'm in love with it. I'm excited by it. And I think it's going to be better for those of us who invest in it.
You're going to make it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just a little parting thought here, probably future podcasts. But people, we were talking a little bit, and I've got another tool I hope we have time at least to introduce here.
We will.
And
next episode.
And what I did, people said, geez, God, well, it seems like the world is coming apart at the seams. And I said, well, you got to have your own lenses for looking at things, because whatever you think is happening to the world, you're making it up in your own brain, So, you can go to sleep by telling yourself happy stories, or you can go to sleep telling yourself scary stories. Try to go to sleep and tell yourself scary stories. And I said, before I'm going to bed, I never tell myself scary stories. I tell myself confident stories, happy stories and everything. But I said, your view of the world is something you made up in your own head. And they said, well, you mean it's not happening? I said, no, it's happening First of all, you don't know much about it, so you're making up what actually just happened. But I said there's 3 rules that I have that keep me really calm. One is that everything is made up.
Yep.
Number 2 is nobody's in charge. And number 3 is life isn't fair. And I said, once you come to grip with those 3 things and you realize that I've got all the power in the world just to design my life the way I want to design it without worrying about, what else is going on. Because that's what you've been doing up until now. You're just admitting that that's the truth.
That's probably one of the wisest things I've ever heard you say, Dan. So that was a hell of a gift. And Tony Robbins often says we're meaning-making machines.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're constantly giving it meaning and making sense out of stuff. And if I were going to add a 4th thing to that, it's this is an illusion we're witnessing, and you can be right next to someone who thinks this is the worst thing possible and the worst day possible because they have a reason to feel that way, but they gave themselves those reasons either unconsciously or consciously. And that rule set, that operating system we live up to is up to us. That is the difference between stupid and ignorant.
Yeah. Not only
ignorant
that,
is excusable, stupid isn't.
Not only that is life isn't fair. So, I mean, I only look at the world and world events in terms of how can I turn this into an advantage?
Yep. Yeah.
Other people's bad news is my good news.
It's a great day. Just another problem to solve and get paid for it and create more friends along the way. It seems like a great upside. All right. Well, let's wrap this episode up. This was another fun one, Dan. And for everyone watching, listening, make sure you share this with some friends. Give us some love on iTunes. We love those positive comments and those 5-star reviews. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks.
Thank you.